Welcome back to the deep dive, and thanks for bringing this source material in. It's incredibly specific.
It is.
Our mission today is to unpack a really foundational text, James chapter 1, verses 12 through 15, and look at how it applies, metaphorically, to one of the oldest questions, right? Why do we keep falling for things we know are bad for us?
Exactly.
It's a real deep dive into desire, the lure, and the anatomy of temptation itself.
It is, and it's an ancient text that gives a surprisingly modern psychological blueprint. We're trying to move beyond just saying that's bad behavior and really analyze the mechanism of self-sabotage.
Okay.
And the source material draws this critical line in the sand right from the start. It's the difference between God allowing us to be tested, which is for growth and temptation, which, the text argues, comes from inside us.
That distinction is just crucial, isn't it? Because if a test is meant to refine you, temptation is designed to ruin you. So our mission, then, is to distill this central theme. How do we spot that hidden fishing hook that's always buried under the exciting bait?
Sure.
We need to understand the mechanics of the trap.
Exactly, and the core principle starts with just absolute clarity in James 1.13. It tells you, point blank, don't blame God, don't blame external forces when you feel that pull towards something destructive.
Okay.
The text says it so clearly. God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone.
That immediately flips the whole narrative. I mean, if the trap isn't set by some divine force, then
Yeah.
who's responsible?
And the source is, well, it's ruthless about this. It's all internal. Temptation arises when an individual is, and this is the key language, dragged away and enticed by their own private lusts, their own desires.
Dragged away, that's such a physical, almost violent image. It suggests you're being yanked from a stable position by an internal pull.
Well, it's a gravitational pull. The desire might be smoldering under the surface, but it needs an external stimulus, that enticement, to really activate it.
Yeah. So it's the meeting of an internal weakness and the perfect external packaging.
Absolutely. And that's the deception factor. No temptation in history has ever shown up looking like its consequences.
Right.
The lure has to be more appealing than the reality. If you knew the full, crushing weight of the regret, you'd never ever take that first step.
So the lure's genius isn't just being attractive, it's being a master of concealment.
Precisely. And that is why the ancient writers use this brilliant metaphor of the hidden hook. What's so fascinating is the source connects this directly to the sports world of the original Greek, specifically hunting and fishing.
The ultimate analogy. Hunters don't use boring truth to catch their prey. They use an exciting decoy, the bait.
And the fundamental concept here is visibility. The trap, the net, the hook, they have to be hidden. If the fish sees the hook, it swims away. It's that simple.
It appeals to a natural desire, hunger, comfort, maybe just an easy reward. The bait was like a shortcut.
That's the psychological leverage. The lure is exciting, it's fascinating, and it draws us in because it promises immediate satisfaction.
But it hides the trade-off.
It completely hides the trade-off. An amazing 5 seconds of excitement for what could be years of regret.
So if the hook is always hidden, what does the source say is the best tool to unmask it? How do we stop being the fish that bites?
Well, connecting this to the bigger picture, the source points to having a pre-committed truth. It uses the scriptural example of Jesus being tempted by Satan. I mean, this is the masterclass in defense.
Right, it's such a decisive counter. He's physically weak, but he counters 3 times, not with personal willpower, but by quoting an external objective standard. He says, "It is written," every single time.
And let's look at that stone to bread test, because it's not just about food. Satan says, if you are the Son of God, turn these stones into bread.
But that feels so reasonable, doesn't it? If I'm starving after 40 days, isn't survival the highest priority? What does the text say about that?
And that's the hook. That's the lure of self-reliance, which is maybe the most dangerous hook of all. From a purely human view, yeah, solve the immediate problem. It seems legal, necessary even.
But it's not.
But the source reframes it. The temptation wasn't just to eat. It was to seize control, to bypass the Father's timeline and authority. It was a lure toward instant power, demanding proof where faith was required.
So the lure wasn't the bread. The lure was the ability to control and validate his own status outside the established order.
Exactly. And that is the actionable insight for you, for the listener. Truly knowing foundational principles, objective truth, moral codes, whatever rules govern your field, that is what allows you to see the bait for what it is, to see the lie.
So it's about walking by those established rules, that faith, And not by the exciting, immediate sight of the bait. It's like an astronaut sticking to the pre-flight checklist, even when panic says to just improvise.
It's the ultimate defense. You recognize the lie because you know the truth so well that the deception's shiny packaging it falls apart instantly.
Okay, that gives us the defense. Now let's get specific. Bring this into the modern day. The source material uses this brilliant framework, a Chinese phrase, to categorize the big hooks today. 朱熹开启.
Which translates roughly to wine, lust, wealth, and status or ego.
The 4 modern lures.
It's an incredibly powerful distillation of human vice. So let's break them down, starting with Jew wine or alcohol. But really, it's any form of intoxication, any deliberate loss of control.
This lure is so potent because it goes right for our judgment center. It promises relief, maybe courage, but what it delivers is recklessness. The source mentions drunk texting, but it's so much bigger than that.
Oh, it is. It's anything that compromises your internal moral brake system. When judgment is gone, boundaries are crossed. In business, driving, relationships, the promise is freedom. The reality is you lose the ability to make rational, protected choices. You just willingly step outside the safe zone.
And next is sea lust, or sex. Probably the most universally powerful lure. It leads to such deep entanglement.
And the mistake people make is underestimating the emotional adhesive of this lure. They think they can treat boundaries, personal, professional, marital, like simple guidelines.
Like they can control it.
That they can control it, exactly. But the source notes this leads so quickly to misconduct, to violating sacred trust, and, it just causes family breakdown and divorce.
And the hidden hook beyond the relational damage is that long-term sorrow. And as the source points out, disease.
Yeah.
You're chasing a moment that has this cascading negative impact on your whole future.
Then we get to Kai wealth or money. The source says this is the desire most relentlessly pursued across the globe. It's the primary engine of our commercial world.
We should be clear, though, the source isn't condemning legitimate work. That's not the issue. The problem is the hook inside the bait, the greed that drives people to want ill-gotten gains, the shortcuts.
And this is where the source gets really specific and, frankly, is startling. It gives this contemporary example. It refers to Taiwan as a kingdom of fraud because this relentless pursuit of easy wealth has created an epidemic of scams.
And this is where it gets terrifying. The numbers are just staggering. Annual losses from fraud in Taiwan peaked at 150 billion TWD. That's an average of over 10 billion TWD lost every single month. This is not petty theft. This is massive, organized psychological warfare fueled by the lure of easy money.
And the psychological mechanics of the hook in these fraud cases are just devastating. Victims aren't just caught by complexity, they're caught because of their own desire for quick, outsized returns.
That unbelievable crypto opportunity or fake investment portfolio.
Right. And the source includes this detail that just chills you to the bone.
Yeah.
The victims find out way too late that everyone else in their online group, the friends who introduced them, they were all part of the scam organization.
They were the last fish to bite the hook, and their own greed made them blind to all the red flags. Just completely blind.
It's the ultimate illustration of how that private desire makes you think you're special, that you're in on a secret, when really, you're the main course.
And finally, we have key anger, ego, or status. So this is the pursuit of vanity, titles, approval, what some cultures call saving face.
This lure is fueled by external validation. It drives people to use any means necessary, to lie, to sell their own integrity, just to get some applause or a higher title.
You see it constantly on social media.
All the time. The temptation to create a perfect life or chase fleeting outrage takes over from the truth. The status hook makes you compromise who you are for what other people think you are.
So we had these 4 massive lures: wine, lust, wealth, status, all engineered to look beautiful while hiding the disaster they inflict.
And they can so easily lead us into that pattern of self-sabotage, what ancient texts called the net of sin. Especially because, as the source warns, the deception often shows up as an angel of light. The trap feels productive, even righteous.
Until the line snaps taut.
And you realize you're caught.
So what does the text offer as a practical defense beyond quoting scripture? How do we defend against these modern lures?
Well, the source suggests that moral guidelines like the 10 Commandments, focusing on relationships with God and neighbor, don't kill, don't steal, don't covet, they act as a protective brake. A brake against impulsivity. They force a pause. They make us consider the consequences before we leap at the bait.
So it's wisdom and vigilance in practice. The source warns that ill-gotten gains, or gifts that just seem to fall from the sky. They often become stones of stumbling. They look like a shortcut, but they inevitably trip you up.
Because they weren't earned through genuine, upright effort. The defense is multi-layered. You have to consistently absorb foundational truth, engage in prayer or self-reflection for clarity, and actively preserve a heart that's honest.
Even when the dishonest path is easier.
Especially then. It's about pre-committing to your principles so you don't have to decide in the heat of the moment. You're consciously looking at the hook before you even get near the bait.
So what does all this really mean for the listener? The difference between a simple desire and a disastrous decision? It seems to lie entirely in recognizing the hidden intention behind the temptation. You have to constantly be asking, is this path paved with temporary excitement and an unbelievable reward, or is it protected by an unwavering established truth?
And the source challenges us to go beyond just fighting temptation when it shows up. It wants us to do some, personal reconnaissance. What specific lure is it? Status, wealth, lust, impulsivity? What is most often used to attract you?
Know your own fragility.
Yes. If you know your area of fragility, how can you practice avoiding that path entirely rather than trying to withstand the lure once you're already swimming right toward the bait? That preemptive, self-aware wisdom, that's the highest defense the source really offers.